So things got a little interesting in western and central North Dakota on Tuesday as a large storm developed and pushed eastward, dropping up to ping pong ball and golf ball sized hail, with that hail literally covering the ground. But will that be a problem in the next coming days? Hello everybody, I'm meteorologist Brad Warner from Region Weather Live, your YouTube source for weather across the Dakotas and Minnesota. So today's storms had a couple of different things going for it. First, at the mid and upper levels, we had this weak trough that moved in, and with it, a little bit stronger winds that pushed in along behind it. Meanwhile, at the surface, we had this nose of higher dew points kind of poking into the region. And those dew points were just north of this warm front. So you put that all together, and we had a fairly large sail across western and central North Dakota come through during the late afternoon and evening hours. Now, what's going to be a little bit different for Wednesday is we're actually going to have this ridge over the area. And generally with ridges, they're not real conducive for thunderstorm development. There might be a weak little wave in there. And we also have sort of this right entrance region of this jet in through northern parts of North Dakota. We're also expecting those higher dew points once again to kind of nose into eastern parts of the Dakotas and western Minnesota. So with that said, I do think we have a chance of some scattered thunderstorms developing once again across the Dakotas and maybe into western parts of Minnesota for Wednesday. But where exactly, I think, really is going to be the problem. These storms are going to be really hard to predict exactly where some of these are going to be firing up throughout the afternoon. I think perhaps the best chance is going to be sort of in this eastern parts of the Dakotas here, just because we do have that weak wave pushing eastward, and then somewhere kind of in the western half of North Dakota as well, just because we have some of those surface boundaries and a little bit of lift going on at the upper levels up in the north end of North Dakota. But I think between the upper level ridge that's really taking place tomorrow, which really isn't conducive for storms, as I said earlier, and just kind of that lack of upper level winds as well, I think storms are going to be very scattered to widely scattered in nature. And it's going to be very difficult, like I said, to determine exactly where some of these storms are going to be. I can just say generally they're going to be somewhere in the Dakotas to western Minnesota. I think more eastern Minnesota, you're probably going to be in the clear for Wednesday. Now, I think the better chance actually is going to come Wednesday night into early parts of Thursday morning, as we're looking at probably some storms down into Nebraska rotating northward through the overnight hours. And so ultimately those good storms might not really come through South Dakota, Minnesota, going into late Wednesday night, early Thursday morning, as you can see here from this particular model. Now, a few of these storms could reach severe levels, more so in the north here, the way they're looking according to the Storms Prediction Center, into the afternoon hours, and then I think that shift into the overnight hours kind of takes place into the western parts of South Dakota. I think ultimately that's where we're getting some of that slight risk from. Now, as I said in my last video, Thursday is really going to be the day to watch out for, and here's why. We've got a strong jet poking into the Central Plains, and not only will it develop some strong storms across Nebraska and Kansas, it should also help in the thunderstorm development across the Dakotas, as well as some of the storms becoming a little more stronger across parts of North Dakota and South Dakota, right before we get this main band coming northward into the overnight hours Thursday night. And so Thursday, going into Thursday night, we're going to see plenty of showers and thunderstorms. And as I said, as we get into the overnight hours, here's going to be some of those storms coming in probably after about 9 or 10 p.m. or so into the nighttime hours Thursday night, before they kind of move and rotate into southern parts of South Dakota. Now, how far north and just how strong they will be going into South Dakota Thursday night is yet to be seen, so we're going to kind of have to wait and see and kind of work that one out as we get closer to that time. And then going into Friday, more showers and storms across the Dakotas and somewhat into Minnesota, but again, look at this model still trying to produce this line of storms across eastern South Dakota, pushing into Iowa and eventually into Minnesota through the overnight hours Friday night. This particular model continues to do that. And of course, if it comes true, we're looking at a strong wind event through the overnight hours Friday night. Now, going into Saturday morning here, we're just looking at generally some showers and storms across the Dakotas and Minnesota. I think for the most part, we're looking at the severe weather remaining south of the region, mainly into Iowa, but still looking like a pretty wet day across the region. It's not until really Sunday that we finally push this low pressure system out of our area and later in the day Sunday, most areas should start to see some sunshine and should turn out to be a pretty nice day. And really that looks like that should persist until at least Wednesday going into next week still. Now the one thing to talk about is the potential for all the rain associated with these showers and thunderstorms going into the weekend. Look at this, folks. The possibility of 2, maybe 3 inches of rain across portions of the Dakotas, a little bit less as you get obviously outside that ring, where we're looking at an inch or more really within a widespread area of our region. So this is really going to be a soaker by the time this is all said and done. And obviously where some of these storms do develop and persist, we could see just even a little more in some areas. You just never know. So I'm not really sure if the farmers really want that much rain right now, because they're trying to get into the fields. They're trying to get that spring planting finished, or at least even started right now in some areas. So there's a lot of rain coming, where we're looking over 1 to 2, maybe even 3 inches of rain into the weekend by the time it is all said and done. And we're also looking at the possibility of some sporadic severe weather. It's just a matter of where exactly is really hard to pin down at this moment. So what you need to do to stay prepared across the Dakotas and Minnesota is hit the subscribe button down below, and also hit the little bell button that pops up right beside it. So when you click subscribe and then you click on the drop down and hit all, that will alert you on your phone the next time I've uploaded a video just like this, or when I'm on live like I was on Tuesday night when those storms were rolling through North Dakota. And as always, hit the thumbs up button down below and share this page. We need to get the word out on this page more, because people are just not finding it. We need to get the word out. We need to get this shared so that this information can reach as many as possible, and hopefully we can save people from getting injured or even worse. So that's what we're out here for ultimately, right? All right, everybody. On Thursday, I will have the stream up live if there is severe weather, but I have one other commitment going on Thursday evening, so I might be in and out. I will have Scott on the live chat to help kind of facilitate things and keep you up to date with the latest as much as possible. But I will be on as much as I can be on Thursday, just because I do have one other thing that I have committed to, unfortunately. Bad timing on my part, but I got to hold true to my commitments there. So we'll see what happens, and we'll keep you up to date going into Thursday. All right, everybody, for Region Weather Live, I'm meteorologist Brad Warner. Everybody, have a good day.